Hey, compact students, this is Miss Moyer with 12.2 Angles of Triangles. So we're going to talk about some of the old stuff we know about triangles, bring in some new stuff. But the first thing we're going to do is a little vocab. So just like we talked about in 12.1 about interior angles of parallel lines and exterior angles, we can say the same thing about triangles and other polygons. The angles inside a polygon are called interior angles. When the sides of a polygon are extended, so like in this picture up here, if you keep drawing these lines out further, you get extra angles formed. So these angles outside the polygon that are adjacent, remember adjacent means next to, the interior angles, so interior angles, then this would be adjacent, this would be adjacent. Those angles here that are shaded in blue, those are called exterior angles. Okay, before we get too far, we have to remember some basics from before. Remember that the angle sum of a triangle is 180 degrees. So if we wanted to find angle x in number 1, we'd have to solve this equation where the sum of the interior angles is 180. Works the same for number 2. I'm not going to go through all that, but it'd be x plus the x minus 35 plus the 43 adds up to 180, and we'd solve, so for example, just to remind you, on the one on the left, we have x plus 106 is 180, subtract the 106, so x here would be 74 degrees. So now we're going to get a new triangle rule about angles. So the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle, so this is our exterior angle here, is equal to the sum of the measures of the two non-adjacent interior angles. So we find out this interesting rule where angle Z out here has to be the sum of x plus y. So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's name this interior angle that's previously unnamed. Let's call it A. So we know from before that review we just did that A plus x plus y has to be 180. We also see that A and Z together make a straight angle that makes them supplementary angles. So A plus Z also has to equal 180. So we're going to do something a little weird here. Do you notice that both of these equations equal 180? That means that these three things together and those things together are the same. That means that A plus x plus y has to equal the A plus z. And when you keep thinking about it, wait a minute, they both have an A. If we subtract A from both sides, we get x plus y equals z, or what we were just talking about. So this exterior angle z is the same as the sum of the two non-adjacent angles x and y. Remember, non-adjacent means not next to. A would be next to z, x and y are not next to. So we can use this as a little bit of a shortcut. Rather than having to figure out what this angle is in here, we can skip ahead and just say, look, we want to know what this exterior angle is. We know these two. Let's just put it all together. It's as easy as this. That exterior angle x has to be the sum of 36 and 72. So x has to equal 108 degrees. And that's it. Over in B, it gets a little trickier, and I'm going to have to teach you a little something new. So we know that our exterior angle 2A is the sum of A minus 5 and 80. So here we have something that we haven't talked about before, and I think that you could figure it out if you really thought about it. The thing we haven't talked about before is we have a variable on both sides of our equal sign? Let's simplify it first. So over on the right-hand side, there's a lot of stuff going on. So we've got 2a equals a plus 75, because our negative 5 and 80 add up to 75. And we don't really want variables on both sides. So think about it for a minute. How could we get rid of a variable on one side? You can do anything to variables that you would to any other number. So here's what we've got. We've got 1a on the right, 2a on the left. What if we just subtracted 1a from both sides? A minus a is 0. So on the right, these things cancel to 0. All we've got left is 75. On the left, 2a take away 1a leaves me with only 1a, and we find out that a is equal to 75. And that's really the main idea here, but you have to be a little careful because it does say in the directions, find the measure of the exterior angle. Our exterior angle here, well, that's 2a. So our exterior angle is really 2 times 75, or 150 degrees. Okay, so here are on your own problems. Number 3 should be pretty straightforward. Number 4 looks pretty crazy. I think that it's a nice challenge problem. If you can do number 3, you're in great shape. If you can do number 4, you're hitting some above and beyond stuff that you're going to be taught at the beginning of 8th grade algebra. So take a minute, pause the video, give these a try. I'll write out the work so you can see the answers. Okay, so I did number 3. It's pretty simple. The y is equal to the 30 plus 40, those non-adjacent interior angles, so y is 70. Now, if you need to pause, I'm going to do number 4. Okay, so there's our first equation. We've got the exterior angle 4n minus 20 is equal to the sum of the other two angles. Then I went ahead and simplified the right-hand side. I added the 2n plus 1n to make 3n. And now I really want to have variables only on one side. So I could subtract 4n from both sides. I could subtract 3n from both sides. But really, I'd rather not have negatives. So if I choose to subtract the 3n from both sides, I end up with 4n minus 3n is 1n. Over here, these 3n's cancel. 3n minus 3n is 0. So I get n minus 20 equals 20. Going to add 20 to both sides, so n is 40. Here's the really tricky part. Remember the directions, it says find the measure of the exterior angle, and our exterior angle isn't just n, it's 4n, which is 40, minus 20, so that becomes 160 minus 20, or 140 degrees, and if you take a look at that angle, it certainly doesn't seem like a 40-degree angle. It's much bigger than that. That's 140 degrees. Okay, now you're ready for your assignment. It's page 538, numbers 7 through 9, 12 through 14, and 23 through 26. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great week. I'll talk to you later. Hey, one more thing before I go. Sorry, my dog keeps making all the snoring noises.